Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Let's get a few things up and running. Wow, wow. Well, look, they say a week is a long time in football, don't they? When was Stoke? I can't remember now. Saturday. That was a difference, wasn't it? Um. So perhaps what we need to do in order to get the real Kieran to stand up is make sure that on the Saturday we hit his knee with a hammer until it looks like a helmet, apparently. And then we get a performance like that. For me, Kieran hands down, his best performance. He was combative, he was fighting, he was getting things in, and he really did. I thought he put in a stellar performance today, as did a lot of the team, as did a lot of the balance of the team. As ever, the problem with Watford is we are so bipolar. I cannot remember now who put it up on Twitter and earlier on in the week, but they were so correct. They were so correct. They said, the problem with Watford isn't that we couldn't beat Wrexham. We very, very possibly could do. This was prior to this. He said the problem is we then will have a period of kind of up and down results, and it's all about consistency. Consistency has to start with one performance, and we've seen that before. It needs to then be followed up again on Saturday. So we'll see what happens, obviously, when Leicester come. Let's pick over the bones of that, because that was a performance with a lot of different qualities, a lot of resilience in the second half, a lot of really good football in the first half. Chak Fatadza, for me, again, a step up from Saturday even. I thought he looked out on his legs, as did lots of players. Question's going to be, who's going to be fit for Saturday? Because by the end, we looked absolutely shot to pieces because they put in an effort there. That was indeed a reaction to a couple of very, very flat performances that have put a number of people in really kind of depressionsville in terms of where we are. I'm not saying that that's not accurate. I'm not saying that this is the right one. Will the real Watford stand up? Who knows? But it was a good performance. It was a very, very, very fine performance, and I think we should enjoy it as such rather than just continue to wallow. We can enjoy that, and we can look at the poorer performances and call those for what they are. Just before we took our seats, I bumped into Woody. Everybody, here he is. Here he is. It's Andy. Andy, can you hear me? Woody, are you there? Woody, hit your mic button down the bottom left. Woody, can you hear me? Okay, that's been fun. Well, here we are. Everything is starting to sort of shift together. Sorry if the signal's not been coming through. Woody, request again, please, and then we'll come and have a chat with you about things. A fine performance, a great performance from Kieran, much improved performance from Chak Fatadza today, I think. Let's hear what you think. The substitutions I thought were odd in part. I thought we left ourselves with little pace to be able to get out, and then we kind of went to 5 at the back to really try to seal all those defensive crosses that were coming in. But hey, as a result and a performance with lots of different characteristics, how did you think it stood up, Woody? How you doing?
I can hear you now, Pete. How you doing? Yeah, very well, thank you.
That's all right.
Here we are.
Just knocking off the technical cobwebs. My apologies, everybody. We're here now, and getting going. Well, Woody caught me just as I was buying myself and my son and my friend. We were all having pizza, and needless to say, I'm never known to have food by me. Am I, Andy?
No, it's very rare. Very rare. Well done.
Very rare indeed. So that was more than we were expecting before the game, wasn't it?
It was fantastic, and I have to say, not only did you have pizza, but me and my son had pizza tonight, and it was his 21st birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, little Woodlet.
So it's Elliot. He's in the back of the car, and he's very shy, so he won't want to say much. But when it was 2-1, I took a picture of the scoreboard. I was like, well, there you go. That's a premonition for you. But no, fantastic birthday present for him. And yeah, we were coming in with, I would say, probably low expectations of tonight, given how solid Wrexham have been, recently, and how poor Watford have been. But fantastic result to see it tonight, and always pleasing to see the boys putting a shift. They really came out with intention tonight, I felt.
Yeah, what did you? I mean, there's a number of performances I think to take a look on, and we'll ask various people about various people, so to speak. Um, the first thing is, will the real Watford stand up? I think we have to say that first of all, because you can't, if you turn in performances like that, but then you turn in performances such as Sheffield Wednesday and to a degree again on Stoke. For me, the thing that stopped this turning that way was we got that goal on our third big opportunity. It was Boller who did it, but I'm not going to ask about one of the goal scorers. What did you think of Kieran today?
Was he on? Was he playing?
Oh, you.
Well, I've been a bit of a harsh critic of him recently because he is there for one reason. As we know with previous centre forwards, they tend to have only one role. And as a football coach myself for nearly 20 years, I like the centre forwards to look at the space. And I don't know who's coaching him or whether he's been given a specific job to do, but why sit in between the two centre halves when someone is trying to deliver a ball to you, when you've got literally, 3 yards either side of you to try and pinpoint a pass? Why doesn't he float to the left or the right, get behind the defender, look at the space? I don't think we're alert enough to see his runs, but he doesn't make any runs. I wouldn't be so cruel as to play him down. I think he's got his merits. And actually tonight, towards the back end of the second half, he was holding the ball up. He was getting some headers. But I have to say, in the first half, I was getting a bit frustrated because I just didn't see what he was doing. And I'm open to be corrected that was the leading question to go, like, did you actually feel he contributed?
Well, no, look, this is all about opinions, and this is the lovely thing, because you can come on and debate about it. And I was having a chat with my mate Steve, and we were walking back to the car, and it was just an interesting one. I'm happy with that. For me, I thought Kieran actually competed against centre backs, admittedly younger, because obviously he was up against Doyle, but Dom Hyam on the right, who's been a long service at Blackburn and been around the Championship long enough. I thought he gave us a little bit more than he has previously, but I don't disagree with in terms of your movement, either in behind or dropping in. I just felt he gave us something a little bit more, but that might be damning him with faint praise for his previous performances. What else did you enjoy about today?
Well, I mean, Iran Kunda definitely seemed a little bit more sparky tonight. You could see his frustration when the ball wasn't getting played, or Elliot was saying to me how fast he was down the wing and how quick he was to pick up the ball. And both him and Chakradadze were actually both really alert tonight, which was really good to see. It's what we want to see, picking up the ball, running it 20, 30 yards, getting the play up the pitch. For some reason, when it breaks down and we hit a cul-de-sac, we turn around, we put it all the way back to Selvik. And it gets frustrating because you make up all that ground and then you turn up and bring it back and you give the team time to regroup. I have to say that, compared to Sam Smith, when you look at Kiramgard and how he played, he was. It's not me. I wasn't speeding.
Definitely not.
The fact that he was really having a tussle with our centre half tonight, and you could see either they were going to get booked or one was going to get the other sent off or something. That's what I would expect a centre forward to do: get in the face of the defender, make it difficult for them to defend. We defended that really well, by the way, and Sam Smith sort of went off with his tail between his legs, but ultimately he was causing trouble for us from the first minute. And that's what I like a centre half to do. Even though he's not going to get distribution, he's got to cause them trouble. And it's such a hard game when you're playing, sort of triangles, and the centre half, the striker's just running around trying to shut down the ball, but he doesn't read the game quick enough to shut the ball down. And I think it is just, it's knowing that you're never going to get it, so why bother chasing it? Because we want to see you do that. You look at how Mfuni played, and by the way, we saw him coming out of the ground at the end there on crutches, bless him, and God wish him back to Man City, but we've broken another one, unfortunately. But Kieran-Gard's got the legs. He might be Bambi on ice, but he's got the legs to reach out, to get a tackle, to put pressure on the defenders. And Wrexham are not going to sit back and just get shut down. They're going to find the space and they're going to push it back into us, which is what they did all game.
They did.
But
very good.
But no, apart from that, I thought Loser, he put a good shift in. He's obviously absolutely shattered. You can see he's tired. You can see he's got injuries. But I felt like he was really trying to play the game throughout the middle. And a little tip of the hat to Bove. I mean, the guy was absolutely loving it, and I wish he could play for, but I'm sure.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Well, both Andy and indeed Elliot, sir, happy birthday. Just for you, we arranged for you to be basically, able to collect 3 points at Vicarage Road today. You've turned up and done just that. So happy birthday, sir. Happy birthday. Right. Well, there goes Woody and Elliot off into the night. Happy. What do you think about it? Let's get to Rich WFC2. Oh, Rich.
Hello. Good evening,
sir. There were all sorts of family complications today, weren't there? Obviously, Rich has got to say you've got a foot in both camps is an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but not tonight. I only have one love, and that's Watford Football Club. I wish my nephew well for the rest of the season, but I'm a Watford fan and always will be. And that was as comprehensive a victory as you could possibly ask for at the end of the day. The first half, we absolutely battered them. And how it's only 2-0 and not over with, I really couldn't understand going into half-time how that wasn't a bigger scoreline. It was a superb first half. And yeah, it was a really good performance. And how Broadhead for Wrexham stays on the pitch after that elbow on Loser is just beyond belief. It's interesting that he didn't come out for the second half, I think. And I also noticed that the referee had a good word with Loser as they came out for the second half. And I don't know whether he was apologising to him for missing it because it was the most blatant, disgusting elbow. So, but anyway, that was that. And then the second half, typically we defend a corner well, so another one comes in, then we stupidly head the ball out for a corner when the goalkeeper should have come and claimed it, giving them another corner, and of course they score from it. And then, as Wrexham do, if you watch them regularly, they chuck the kitchen sink on towards the end and just chuck. I mean, all they were doing were chucking balls in the box. And most teams in the country, when you're having balls thrown in the box, it's always a bit hairy. But I think we had about 6 centre-halves on the pitch at the end of it, just heading them all away, to be fair. And then we go up the other end, and there is the real fantasy moment. Forget Disney Plus. You've got Bove Plus tonight when he comes up and scores. I mean, to be honest, Bove is. I watched him come on, and I just, obviously he's so much wanting to do well. And he looked again a bit of rabbit in headlights. I thought, oh my God, he's adding nothing to this midfield at the minute. And he was trying his hardest, but nothing was coming off. And then, bless his heart, he's there right on the jack in the box and puts the ball in the net. And hopefully that'll do him wonders. It was just a magical moment to finish the game, and a thoroughly deserved victory. And you really couldn't ask any more. And I heard you pose the question of Kurengard, and we'll have that little last statement as we do. As I said before, I like a striker.
You do.
Tonight, that was one of the most complete performances of a centre forward that I've seen for a long time. Luca was just brilliant tonight, and I really disagree with your previous caller. He won. Everyone kept telling me, and particularly in the family, of how good the centre halves were for Wrexham. He gave them a torrid time between both of them, and he positioned himself right in the positions to. He won nearly every header. He controlled the ball. He moved it forward, and I thought he was outstanding. And he gave us an out ball that enabled us to control the game when we needed to. Yes, in the second half it could have been a bit more, but that was more to do with Wrexham just chucking the ball in the box at the other end. Yeah. And we couldn't get out enough, and we just defended and just put tucked in a bit. And I think they call it a low block these days. I don't know, all this modern nonsense talk to me. It's just dig in, basically.
There's nothing wrong with low block. We like low block.
I think that's what they call
Sit
it.
Deep. Yeah.
But no, I thought Luca Kurengard, and bear in mind he played the whole 90 minutes. I mean, what was Saturday all about? What on earth was going on there? How do you play 5 minutes on Saturday? And we're told that he had a leg. Was that somebody used helmet leg or something?
He had a knee that looked like a helmet.
And he looked like a helmet, and suddenly he's looking like blinking. I don't know, whatever you want to. Any good centre forward you want to think of. It was an outstanding game from him. Full credit to him. And
clearly, what we need to do is 2 or 3 days prior to any match is basically hit his knee with the heel of a shoe repeatedly until it flares up, and then 3 days later he'll be like that. Everybody can look at a game and a player performance differently depending on what they want from that particular player. I'm in your camp. I thought we saw a performance today that for me in part looked like he'd like a few kind of, I don't know, a few pennies had dropped. Well, that's what I need to do to get here, and he was doing them. Sorry, Rich, go on.
Yeah, no, my initial reaction watching him in the first half was that he'd been told to play for 45 minutes and give everything, thinking that Mamadou would come on in the second half. And obviously that wasn't the case because he played 90 minutes. But he played. That's how good he was in the first half. And also a special mention, I think, to Ekwa as well. Sadly, he obviously hasn't got 90 minutes in him, but that first half, he absolutely bossed that midfield. I mean, you had O'Brien trying to man-mark Loser, and they just ended up man-marking each other, and Loser's by far the better player, so he managed to find more space than O'Brien. I like O'Brien, he's a good player, but he spent so much time trying to keep control of Loser that it gave Ekwa. He was just dictating the play, and I mean, it was just a really good performance. I didn't, put it this way, I felt good today. I felt it was going to be a good night, but that's easy to say, I know now. But I didn't see that sort of performance coming, particularly the first half. And we just blew them away, in my opinion. And, I'm sure Wrexham will come again and they'll probably got enough in them. They've got enough fit bodies. I mean, we're patching everybody up at the end. The Banquo is on one leg, Losers on one leg. I mean, how long it took to get the Mendy on for a Banquo just blew my mind. But we literally, it's almost our reserve team tonight. You think of the players that are not playing tonight, and yet they stood up and some say they haven't got a lot to play for. Well, they didn't look like a team that didn't have anything to play for tonight. It was a really excellent performance, and full credit to the manager and the management team. They got their tactics spot on, and I genuinely never really felt that we were going to throw that game away. Silly goal at 2-1, but and then to go and get that lovely goal at the end. No, a really satisfying night and a very, very good performance. But that's the standard now. We've got Leicester on Saturday, and nothing would please me more than to put another nail in their coffin. And wouldn't it be lovely to see Leicester go down? But anyway,
and I think that is the crux. Will the real Watford please stand up? And I can't remember whether or not I've said this because I said a load of stuff before I actually was broadcasting. So my apologies, everybody. But there was a fantastic piece on, and I can't remember who it was. So my apologies. I will give a credit when I find it and pull it out. When somebody said, the thing isn't that we can't beat Watford, that we can't beat Wrexham. The problem is that we can't string 3 consistent performances together. No, and that's now the challenge, isn't it? And that's what we've got to do.
It is. We say stand up on, but the trouble is who's going to be standing up on Saturday? Who's going to be fit? I mean, it literally is. It's going to be a roll call of who can actually get on that football pitch on Saturday, and that is unfortunately with so many key players out. I mean, you just imagine having Mama, Vata, Bar, available just as the 3 forwards, let alone having no right backs at all as well in Ngakir and Petris. It's incredible that we put a team out there tonight that's done that, and somehow we got to hope that they can do it again on Saturday. But we've been doing all right the last few games. As I say, we should have got something at Stoke. We should have certainly got something at Sheffield Wednesday. The chances were being created and the football was being played, but we were just running out of steam. And tonight they just kept going and they got a deserved result. And full credit to them. But let's go and do Leicester on Saturday. And and for the rest of the season, I hope Wrexham do well, and I hope they push on and they use tonight as an example of maybe play a bit more football rather than hoofing it a little bit more. And if they play a bit more football and get stuck in there, they're up there for a reason. They've done very well, and good luck to them. They lick their wounds tonight and go again. And they've got every chance of being there or thereabouts. So, but it's just made it all quite tight again up there at the top again. There's Southampton are back in it now. Derby are back in it.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing that we can effectively be in terms of the season, because a lot of people saying it's not quite over. yet. Well, let's just keep the hope bang. Let's keep that in a box and marked open in 2027, shall we? But what we can be is we can be involved in the kind of the king making that's going on. We can be influencing it. Now, I mean, Wrexham, and when we spoke to Rob, Ryan, Red, and we spoke to Rich, and previously we spoke to Nate. We've had lots of people who are Wrexham supporters kind of start to follow us, because we haven't been in complete arseholes to the fact that, yes, they've done well, but we made the point that their tale is very, very similar to us in and around the GT era. We went up the divisions. We had a manager who was ridiculously underrated. I think Phil Parkinson is underrated. We had a benevolent benefactor who wanted to do something with the club, who was obviously well known, and of course they have exactly the same. So there's a lot of things there. But that notwithstanding, hey, we've still got other games to go and impact this race all over the place and see where we get to. I'm not bothered about the playoffs personally, but I want to see us perform in each and every game and give us something to look forward to, because at the moment there hasn't been. And
it's key, because the one negative of the night is obviously you look around at all the empty seats, and that's a point to the director's box and to the owner and the chairman to say that is a stadium tonight, in an arguably a quite sort of top end of the table game, and there is, well, I don't know, what do you reckon, 12,000 there in the total tonight? I mean, obviously Wrexham didn't bring that many. It's a long way, I understand, but they were far from sold out, and the amount of empty seats are, I'm being perhaps generous in saying there's 12,000, and that is a sign to the director's box to say, this is the lethargy is there. Sort it bloody out and do something, because the fan base is disappearing, sadly, which is the saddest thing of the whole evening. But those that were there like us, have enjoyed the night, and I'm sure those that have watched it on the telly have enjoyed it. But come season ticket time, it's going to be very interesting, and what's going to be left next season, because if we're not in the Premiership next season, we all know the fire sale's coming, and we ain't going to be in the Premiership next season, are we? So, never mind. Well, good night, though. But let's end on the high. That was a smashing evening. The daughter was there tonight. All the family were there, and me and my daughter certainly thoroughly enjoyed the night. And she said that was they turned up tonight. They had their Weetabix, so fair play to them.
Well, let's be honest. We've won the night, but in terms of so far over the season, and of course you've got to chart Wrexham's progress through 5 or 6 seasons now, or 5 seasons where they've come to. They're certainly winning the season at this moment in time. It is indeed, all the analogies, the Disney and the fairy tale and all of this sort of stuff. It's fantastic for them. So, we will see where we go and what part we play. But Rich, sir, thank you very much indeed, as always. Let's get to Paul Holly and see what Paul thought about this evening and everything that's going on at the moment, injuries and all sorts. Paul, how you doing?
Yeah, very well, Pete. Credit where it's due. My expectations were low this evening.
Mine were as well. I was in your camp. I didn't have the confidence that Rich had. I was like, oh, I'm not really sure because of everything that's gone before it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the odds before the game, and Wrexham were 2-1, and I thought, blimey, that can't be right. But actually, they probably should have been 10-1 post what we've seen. So no, it was a great first half. Great goals. And we looked a good side on the counter attack. I was expecting an Ipswich type performance, and I was expecting Wrexham to be as good as Ipswich. But no, actually, when we got the ball, we broke with purpose, and Chak Savadzi probably had his best game of the season.
Yeah, well, I thought he did. I thought he was coming out with the ball, and he was using the ball so much more effectively. I mean, the little back heel for Bola over Latnia, kind of coming in behind him, and then for the finish was sublime. And I think we'll watch it back. But it was also there was a time in the second half where he sort of gave the ball away, and it was like, oh Christ, that can still happen then. He felt like to me, it felt like he was really, really coming back. And I know a number of people were calling him on Saturday and saying, no, he seems to be going up through the gears. A few weeks ago, we spoke to Vasher from Georgia, who came on and said, look, he's followed him throughout his career, and he follows lots of Georgian players, of course. So he's almost a vicarious Watford fan. Hey, Vasher, if you're listening. And he said, no, he's had these kind of injuries before. He does take a while to come back. So, look, maybe it's there, but it was lovely to see it tonight. Can I ask about another player of you? Sorry, sir.
Go on.
I think for me, one of the players that hasn't been in and around the team over the last couple of weeks has been Matty Pollock. And tonight, it was one of those performances that it wasn't just right, well, we've won everything and we're playing it forward. No. In that second half, they switched it up. The ball went wide. They've got the ball into the box. They got an early goal, obviously, from the set piece. But thereafter, Matty Pollock getting his head on it in two or three, and getting challenges in 2 or 3 occasions that could have changed and turned that goal and that game pivotally. What was your take on Matty Pollock today?
Yeah, I thought he was excellent. And in the Championship, you need that type of player.
Yeah.
Where you're going to get teams like Wrexham that are going to. I think somebody said they put 43 crosses in tonight. You need that type of player who's prepared to put their body on the line a bit. Not saying he's John Terry, but that kind of profile.
Yeah.
Whether he would be technically good enough to play up a level would be a question mark. But in games like tonight, that is meat and drink to someone like Pollock, and I thought he was excellent, and I also thought. Can't pronounce his name, but I called him Gobby.
Goliachidze.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
He does throw his body on the line, and there are times where you need that profile. But no, you could go throughout the team, and even Niran Kunda seemed to have learnt tonight. There was a couple of times where they tried to wind him up, but he kind of thought about it and then kept his cool. He started to be more of a team player. So, and Keramgard's second half, best number 9 role that he's played all season. We need to see more of that. So the challenge now is to keep it going, isn't it, into Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. I just thought it was a lovely game where we saw something from everybody, which has been missing. Everybody's been playing a little bit below the radar. Chances being taken, change games. I know other old cliches are available, but it's absolutely true. In both the Sheffield Wednesday and the Stoke game, we had 3 or 4 chances, missed them, and then it wasn't like everybody down tools, but it was like, well, I'll let somebody else create something now, and nobody stepped up to it. Whereas tonight, people did, whether or not we were on the front foot, and especially when we were on the back foot and having to defend really, really well. And I think Goliachidze, and by the way, my trick to the pronunciation, and Vash is going to correct me in a minute, I just say it really confidently and quickly and hope that nobody will pick me up. That's the way to do it, I think, everybody. but I thought he put it in exactly as you said. His shirt was ripped from about midway through the second half. I think Sam Smith had a good few handfuls of that at some point, but it was really nice to see that determination, that thing that can often be thrown at this particular group of players, that they don't have, they don't have the fight in them. Tonight, it felt like we did. We need to take that and repeat that time and time again, don't we?
I think so. And I think, what my reading of it was, there was fight there. I think had Wrexham got an equaliser, I probably would have expected us to lose, because I think the belief would have been drained out. But
possibly.
Sometimes it is about that belief. And I think one thing we've really missed is when we have had those times where there hasn't been the belief or something's gone against us. That's when you need a real leader. And that is one thing, no losers captain, but you need that someone to kind of go, come on, get up for the fight, and not let people shirk away. So credit where it's due. We look well organised tonight. Well done to the players that played. Great performance. And it looked like the Derby game, where it looked like the coaching staff had prepared thoroughly, and the plan was played out on the pitch.
Very nice, very nice. We move on, obviously, as ever, to Leicester. And as people have said, Leicester, but they're down the bottom. And you know what we do against teams down the bottom? Yes, we do. We do. Let's get to Vasha, because I've been mispronouncing Georgian names for quite some time now, and I think it's time I was corrected. Vasha, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me?
I've got you loud and clear. Got you loud and clear.
Yes, and your pronunciation is getting better and better. Unlike my English.
What I love is the fact we've now got people who are prepared to come and feel sorry for me from other countries, and this is a very big improvement. So, how are we pronouncing Gogliachidze? Is it give us the proper version?
Gogliachidze is the proper way of pronouncing it, and you're doing quite well actually. I'm still dreading. The match I watched was not with Derek Payne's commentary, so I don't know if he handled this, but. First of all, let me congratulate every Watford fan. Much needed win.
Yes.
And obviously, full disclosure, since I'm not a die-hard Watford fan per se, but have been following because of the Georgians, I'll try to chime in if it's possible, and also I'll try to be what I think is called a bit of a negative Nancy.
I love this. Yes, carry on. Far away.
Yeah, I've seen. On X, people and the previous speaker also pointed out that it was a well-coached game and etc. And so on, and people giving plaudits to Ed still. And I failed to see how this was a well-coached game, to be honest, because the making or undoing of a good head coach is second half, and the second half was absolute turgid. And probably I hope it still has a very small statuette of Matty Pollock in his basement somewhere with an altar and praise to him like every match day, because he basically carried the team. He was so instrumental, so crucial, so key to preserving that lead. I was very happy for Bowe, but really could not see any kind of coaching imprint, so to say, from Ed still. And he's standing just there. It's looking like a Pixar character, like with his brows furrowed. And he, out of everyone who was on the bench or on the field, he looked like the least confident person, human being over there. He was the one who needed encouragement from the rest of the people, so to say, and it should be the other way around. And also, what I've seen of Watford, and I think this was the second season following, this team is badly in need of either a tactically good coach or an authoritarian coach, very good disciplinarian, because you see players that have very good base. Take Bankwa, for example. He's physically imposing. There is a very good center half / makeshift right back there. But hey, you see his shortcomings improved over the 2 seasons now that has been at Watford. Has his tactical awareness improved? No, it hasn't. It does not look like any of the players are improving due to coaches giving instructions. It looks like they're improving because they're learning on their own.
Okay.
And can be said about Gogliachidze. He's been 5 games in now.
Yeah.
Still strong at what he was strong, what he was good at when he came in, and none of his none of his deficiencies seem to be improving. And you can't blame that solely on the player. You need to ask questions about the staff. So what are you teaching these guys tactically? Are they mentally not well equipped to pick up your instructions, or are you not giving them instructions? And this is very surprising from a coach that comes from a data analysis background, because he should be the one to point out what has been done, where things are lacking, etc., etc. None of that seems to be happening. There are obviously some cases that can be helped. For example, Egil Selvik, for all his brilliant shot stopping, seems to be from another universe, where the main quality of a goalkeeper is to punt the ball and not claim it in the air. And this. How can you have a confident backline with a goalkeeper like that?
Well, he does. He puts the worry into everybody because he comes and he always punches. And there are times when he could.
How can you instill confidence in your backline if your goalkeeper does that? If he all the time invites more pressure. Another player that I've seen not being criticized about is Loser, and he's another show of my knowledge of English, with another saying, has been flattering to deceive, I think is the saying.
I think no, he has been in the last 4 to 5, maybe 6, 7 games, something like that. He's dipped below his level. Absolutely, I think today
he's obviously big authority in the dressing room and on the pitch as well. And it somehow seems he does this faux playmaking where instead of he does recycling, but that recycling is not positive. It does not bring forward momentum.
Yeah.
It does not carry the game forward. It's just recycling for recycling's case, and it's not tiki-taka. About Watford, I'm not playing tiki-taka. You don't have luxury of recycling and slowing down the tempo when the biggest plus and advantage of your game is of your team is being fast on the break.
Yeah. Well, no, a lot of what he's done in that period where he's dipped has been. He's been playing balls to retain possession rather than progress the ball forward.
Yeah, and he also seems to be very overtired, and obviously we have no luxury to rest him. I mean, a couple of positives was Ekwa seems to be a Rolls Royce of a midfielder. He was imposing. I mean, that was brilliant to see, and that I think was has been so lacking in Watford midfield to see somebody like he was strolling about on the pitch. He was physically up to the task. His short passing was superb. He was good in one versus one. And I've seen lots of plaudits for Kirumgo.
Yeah.
How you pronounce that? That's now when I'm in trouble.
I'm not going to pronounce your pronunciation of anything.
And he seems to be doing things that was required of him, like in the beginning of the season, but he didn't know. So that might be, something that he's been learning and he's been coached. So credit where that's due. But also, what I could see is that the two centre backs of Wrexham were somehow thinking way too cultured. So if you get my drift, I mean. They're not putting enough fight, not manhandling him, so to say, because I've seen the games where he was manhandled and he kind of wilted and disappeared from the game. There was nothing like of this sort in this game. He was not, tossed about, so to say, and there was not much contact. He was giving way too much space.
And the team itself also respond when the opposition increase their level of physicality. In that way, and kind of disrupting.
Yeah,
we can lose our mentality quite easily. And he's part of that as well. And so I think the service doesn't improve going to him. But I thought he did okay. One of the things that I really love about Ekwa is as a defensive midfielder. But you mentioned it, but his distribution was excellent. It wasn't just somebody who wins the ball and gives it away. For everybody who remembers Hamza Chowdhury, it was retained. He retained it and progressed it as well.
Never took more touches than necessary. That is so important in today's game. Like, took 1-2 touches maximum would recycle. That's how we do recycling, and not, whatever. Another, thing that was very apparent is that somehow Wrexham's data analyst team has arrived to a very unusual conclusion that Watford should not be pressed high up, and which has been like everybody who played well against Watford pressed them high up.
Yes,
and you basically see the solution. Other teams have figured it out for you, and you are somehow not doing that. And they started doing that in the second half, and immediately problems started for Watford. So, and that's one would think where head coach has to intervene and shore up the things, etc. But I mean, once again, I didn't say any of that from us. Very happy for Bove. What a brilliant cameo, and what a the joy on his face on a basically human level was
Absolutely
so satisfying to see.
Absolutely. No, it was a night whereby there was a lovely observed 15 minutes applause, or 15 minutes on the 15-minute mark, applause for the young girl Amelia Alpin, who played for Oxford Academy, but is a Watford supporter, got Watford supporting family, and there was a lovely applause for that. So there was a human moment at the end of at either end of the game, so to speak. One obviously for a real tragedy, and one for somebody stepping back from something that could have absolutely seen the end of Bove's life, and instead he's stepping back in with Watford, and it's a lovely story to see. It would be lovely to see a little bit more of him moving forward, but lovely stuff. Well, there we go. Vasha, thank you very much indeed for that. My pronunciation isn't that bad, everybody. In your face, that's all I'm saying. Let's get to Danny, and we'll find out more from Vasha next time because we want to talk to him about Cecavani as well, who's started scoring goals in the under-21, which is good. Danny,
hello, mate.
I'm a member of the pronunciation party, and I'm not doing as bad as we all thought.
You're doing a splendid job, mate. You're doing a splendid job.
How'd you like them apples? That's never been said before. Oh, mate, come on in. What were your thoughts about it? It was a bit harum scarum in the second half. They kind of were putting balls in from the wide, but we were dealing with it. What was your take out of everything?
It was an excellent performance. I mean that first half is probably as good as we've seen all season. It reminded me of the Birmingham game on New Year's Day, where we blew them apart first half. I think equally Wrexham were poor. I mean, I was very surprised how poor they were. I mean, so many misplaced passes from Wrexham. I mean, when I kind of watch a bit of Wrexham, because I'm good friends with Stuart, so obviously I know the connection there with his son. So I'll watch a little bit of Wrexham, and most games they pass the ball well. They're just ruthless what they do. But first half, I mean, it was all Watford. I mean, we battered them, and in second half, I think we all expected them to come out. I mean, they couldn't come out any worse. They come out, a lot better second half. Got that goal. I mean, he would have been avoided that goal. With this I think it was a Banquet giveaway, stupid corner.
Yeah.
But we had to dig in, and then obviously the moment coming at the end of the game. I mean, I don't think there was any dry eyes in Vicarage Road at the end of the game. I mean, you just so emotional by what he's been through. I mean, for him to score like that, his first goal since his heart attack. I mean, it was just brilliant, a brilliant night. But where was that team last Tuesday? Where was that team on Saturday? This is just Watford in a nutshell, this performance.
I don't disagree with you there. I think it's will the real Watford stand up, pure and simple. I mean, when I was coaching, and I'm talking about the dawn of time here, people all played in black and white because colour wasn't available. But I always used to say that consistency is the last thing you get, because you need to play well and then play it over a period of time. And we just seem to have been incapable of doing that this season at all.
We are consistently inconsistent.
Exactly. That in a nutshell. It's just been one of those annoying things, because we've never really had a head up of steam. And so people are looking at it, and some are going, "Oh, bastards, they're just keeping enough interest in it just to tie it in, aren't they?" This surely there has to be done regardless of the playoff situation. The situation I'm not even looking at that. As far as I'm concerned, the playoffs are very similar to the FA Cup. They simply didn't happen this season, so we can just enjoy games and performances as they are. But looking what we've done here against a good Wrexham side, okay, I think we heard from Vasha, as he said quite rightly, they didn't really press you. I mean, Sam Smith was a right raw pain in the arse and grabbed anything that moved around him. Fair play to him. I'd like that very much in our side personally. But that notwithstanding, what are we going to have? Are we able to take this into Leicester, or is the casualty list from tonight and the injuries and the and how knackered everybody looks? What are your thoughts about Saturday coming with Leicester, because they're down against amongst the dead men, and we don't normally perform against those guys very well at all.
Look, it's going to be a tough game. Leicester, they're second bottom. they're fighting for their lives. But I would like to see our record against bottom half versus top half. I mean, we just struggle again. I mean, this case we just struggle to break teams down. You know, you go back to last Tuesday, Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, we should have been 2-3 up inside 20 minutes. We just couldn't break it down. And then, you know, the game was going on, and then obviously they scored, and we were lucky to draw.
Yep.
Stoke game again, very similar to Sheffield Wednesday. We should have been 2-0 up. You know, Ince missed that chance. I think Loser missed another one. He should have been there. That's 2-0, and then the game was done. But today, I think we were just ruthless. And we've got to do Saturday like we did today. We've got to be ruthless, take a chance when we get them. And another performance on Saturday, like Kieran Gard tonight. I mean, Kieran Gard, probably best performance all season. I thought he was outstanding. His performance deserved a goal, but, you know, he held the ball up well, linked the player well, won headers, which he doesn't normally do considering his stature. I thought he was excellent. I mean, we could talk about any players. Matty Pollock, outstanding. Proved tonight why he's far and away our best defender. Ekwa, first start, amazing. Irakunda was all right, yeah, did what he had to do. And Loser was good. Georgie, probably that first hour was probably the best we've seen him all season.
Yeah.
So a thoroughly good night, but like I said, we've just got to back it up on Saturday.
I think we in that second half, especially when we took Irakunda off, because I don't think Irakunda was having, you know, the best game, but he's always our outlet. He's always our outlet.
Exactly. That's my point. He's, you know, because we were short on wingers, you know, with Vata, Bar, and Mama. We literally, he's like you said, he's our only outlet as a winger. So we kind of have to rely on him for that pace and the break. And I thought at times he did that well, but there was times he was frustrating me because there was, you know, he had the ball on the sideline. He was passing the ball back. Whereas I'm thinking, mate, just run at him. He's so quick. You'll beat any fullback. And at times you can be frustrated, but then he proved what he can do on Saturday with that strike. But, you know, I do think there's definitely more to go from Irakunda. But like you said, at the moment he's our only outlet, so he has to play a part.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's great to see Chak Fatadza, as you said in there, you know, starting to give us something a little bit more than, I don't mean to be dismissive of his previous efforts, but flattering to deceive, having the ball and occasionally doing stuff. You know,
it's a fair comment. It's a fair comment because, you know, we all know the class of Georgie. I do think the injury he had, he sort of held him back a little bit. I think he's worried. I don't know, a recurrence of injuries. He's pulling out challenges and stuff. But, you know, there's times when Georgie's got the ball, he's just running full throttle. I mean, nobody can catch it. So close to his feet at full pace. I mean, there aren't many players better than Georgie in the Championship when he's at that level. But we just need to see more of that from Georgie, and, you know, we're going to do.
Very good. Danny, sir, give me a shout after Leicester, and we'll see how we're going with everything. Let's get across to the US. Let's go and chat to Vinny and find out whether or not Vinny is in Dallas or if he is marauding around the US, as he has a tendency to do on occasions. Vinny, how you doing?
Good evening.
Well,
how you doing?
It is here. What time is it there?
It is 6:08.
Oh, good evening still. I like this. This is very good. So first of all, first questions we always like to check with Vinny. Vinny, whereabouts are you?
Today was a work day, so I'm in Dallas.
You are in Dallas. This is good.
Yes.
And despite it being a work day, were you able to observe the goings on at Vicarage Road?
Oh yeah, I mean, I watched the whole game at my desk. It was great.
Well done, you hardworking American supporters.
When I was on earlier, because like I was going to get pretty tuned up for this one because it was on Saturday.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, they moved it because you know, Rob McElhenney and Deadpool needed their moment, losing to Chelsea. But yeah,
I was impressed with that game, and I make no apologies for it. However, obviously the flip side, and I've not thought about this until you mentioned it. There is for those, you know, American supporters of other clubs, presumably everybody's a Wrexham fan around you.
It's beyond. Like I joined when you're talking about how, like, you know, people are Wrexham fans around you, I guess, and it's a cool story. Completely the opposite here in America. Everyone loves them, and it is beyond annoying. Like it grinds my gears. Like I respectfully, I wish them the worst. But Because everyone's like, oh my gosh, their story's so great. This, that, and the other. They can get promoted 4 years in a row. And it's like, yeah, well, this team you never heard of's done it before. Obviously, that's us. So it's just a little annoying.
Well, what can we say? Watford FC 1881 made a number of points. We'll go through some of those, but I'm going to pull this one. He said, the guy in your opposition view, this was Rich from Rob Red Ryan. He said he did make the point that Wrexham do have a what the fuck performance this time of the season, and he was 100% right. He did. He turned around and he said, we always, when we go to the Southeast on a Tuesday night, and we've done it, he said, pretty much every season, and we lose. So he was like, even though we were sort of, after the last few games going, oh, holy heck, we're all over the place. He was a little bit more kind of straight to it. But the US based Wrexham fans, are they a little bit too full of themselves? Is it, what's the average sort of profile of a Wrexham fan in the US?
I don't think full of themselves is the right word. It's just like, I don't. It's just something that grinds my gears with kind of they're really laissez-faire. They don't really know much, and it's like, oh wow, look at Wrexham, they're so amazing. The US fans down here too. This is a good example. They loved the whole Luton story. It's like, oh, this really small town with this stadium in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know. They over dramatize things and think things are really cool, and it grinds my gears. I don't really know if I'm describing it well, but
no, it's fine. Look, let's face it, this is football. This is all about basically resenting people for no good apparent reason. And if that's part of something that we finally got across to the States so that you can all enjoy that sort of thing too, all the better. That's what I say. I think that's good. Well, what did you make of things other than talking about the US Wrexham fans and all football things there? What did you make of all things this evening?
Yeah, I'm sure the Hollywood stars resented their team because they were absolutely terrible, and they were so bad. They literally couldn't do anything. But yeah, maybe it's just like the midweek day catching up to you, traveling a little far. But I was shocked, and it just it's like, how are they above us? It's like, and the reason why is because we give up these goals with a Banquat useless header out of bounds to the corner for a goal. It's like these little moments every single game are undoing. It's like, oh, missing lose on the weekend, going with this right foot and missing just barely, and then you lose. You have one little mistake, or you don't take the chance and you lose the game. It's really crazy. And I thought we were totally gonna 2-2 it after they scored early on the luck box corner. But they were terrible and we were great. Chuck Patazzi was amazing. Cannot wait for Mama to come back so Chuck Patazzi's playing the 8. It's gonna be sick. But we have to win Saturday for it to, I guess, manifest to our hopes and dreams.
I can't better words that say manifest to our hopes and dreams. I like that very much indeed. I like that. Lovely stuff from Vinny there. Let's carry on in the United States here for a moment, because I like this idea of understanding football fans in the US. What does this mean? Because look, and I appreciate there's been people who said no, they can fuck off as far as I'm concerned today. I get that, fine. I have nothing against Wrexham people, so I'm not gonna play that one. But I am going to go to Adam in the US and just say and find out what his thoughts are now, because it's not something that I've really thought about before. How big a result is this for those US football fans? Adam, are you there, sir?
I am just serving up dinner, my friend.
Oh.
So bear with me.
Hold on, we've done this before with Adam when he's been cooking. We've insisted we find out everything that's on the plate. Have you been cooking?
Yes.
Excellent. Right.
I've got a bit of pork tenderloin.
Nice.
And asparagus and sweet potatoes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you had me at pork tenderloin, and then you got all vegetable on me, which is kind of yeah. Well, there you go. You've managed to watch the game, presumably, also whilst hard at work. This is multitasking. It's the modern world. It's what people do.
I actually stopped. There's a 4-hour time difference now because our clocks went forward a couple of weeks ago. So it was 4 p.m. and I thought, fuck it, I'm done.
Well done. And that's the attitude that the British people are bringing to the American economy. Donald Trump, you're welcome. What do you think about...
Remember I said the delusions are over and last time I was on?
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, maybe they're not quite... probably not, no.
No.
But,
that's that. As far as I'm concerned, that's very much like your pork tenderloin. It's possibly overdone. Who knows? It's well, I don't know.
Perfectly cooked.
Oh, of course, perfectly prepared. That's the word I was looking for. It's just one of those things where you look at it and go, I'm going to abandon the hope, and I'm going to take each game as it comes. And I know that's football's old cliche, but that's what they're doing. And that way we won't get all carried away with this.
Yeah.
We can enjoy the good performances, because why shouldn't we? We have to suffer the bad ones and the bad results. And there's been a lot of debate online about, kind of what statistics are important and vital and what's not. Well, frankly, the league table is the one that makes you determine where you're going to finish in the league. I think if we take a look away from that for the moment and enjoy each game as it comes, maybe we can take a little bit of something out at the end of the season, even if it's not promotion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to say, Georgie is coming back to form for sure.
Yeah.
He had another great game today. I wish that goal had gone in, that beautiful curling shot that he had that hit I think it hit the crossbar, didn't it? Hit something.
Yes.
Yeah. He's so quick over like 2 or 3 yards. You notice that he can just get away from players. He doesn't have that sprinting capability, but over 10 meters, he's really, really fast.
The amount of times when he's on form, when he can come away with the ball, when you do look at it and go, how on earth have you still got that? You've left 2 players in your wake, both looking and wondering why you've come away with it. And he was also, it wasn't just those shots on goal and the targets. It was the little passes, but it was also the switching of play. There suddenly seemed to be a bit of a lift in his overall kind of options and his execution of them.
Yeah, and the other one, where's Matty Pollock been all this time? I guess he was being kept out by Booney, and he was outstanding today, and probably my man of the match.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people saw a game of 2 halves, but both, and I appreciate, we talked to Vash earlier on, and he wasn't particularly impressed with the second half, and that's fine.
No, it wasn't brilliant. No,
but when you're not playing well, it's other qualities that see you through. And it was interesting earlier on because Paul Holly said, if they'd have got a second one, I don't think we'd have won it. And I agree. But you also have to give credit to the team for going, no, you're not going to come in and have another one. We're not going to, okay, you're always going to be riding your luck a little bit on it. And we did sit deep. And I thought some of Ed's substitutions were incredibly meh. I didn't like us taking off. We basically switched to a 4-4-2, and we switched Kayembe out to the right when he was already practically dead. So was Loser at one stage as well. Chakvetadze was running on fumes, and suddenly we had no outball because that's not what Kayembe is going to give. But he then switched it again to 3 at the back. We then had to take off a banker and even bring Kevin on there, and we went, okay, if the ball's going to be out wide and you're going to be putting it in, we're going to have more people trying to get their headers on it. It can go the wrong way. I'm not personally a great fan of making that particular change, but he did it. He got away with it, and we kind of got a little bit more control towards the end and got away for some breakaways and obviously got the goal. So hey, all's well that ends well in that respect. I
think we let Wrexham come on to us in the second half too much, especially when they got that kind of, I wouldn't say lucky goal, but I mean, it was, just a flick on at the post and went in.
Well,
their confidence
I agree.
went up.
I don't know, and I don't know because I'm not looking at statistics, but from the eye test, as it's commonly known, I thought Windass caused us all sorts of problems because he can get forward, he can play in midfield, he can drop onto the right, he can go and be an extra man all over the place. And I think he kind of personally changed a few things just in terms of his use of the ball, not at the end of everything, but just in the build up and in his kind of he's a player who can snaffle it out, get it, and then use it, and then break forward as well. I thought he was useful, and I thought Enqua in the first half almost, and the whole performance in the first half almost made them go, we've got to get the ball out wide and deliver the ball in, because they didn't want to try and come through him.
Is Equa a lone player?
He is. He's a lone player. He was at, people remember, or maybe remember, he was at Sunderland, and then he went to Saint Etienne, and the dispute with him and the reason why he's not been particularly fit was Saint Etienne at the end of last season went down to Ligue 2. I presume it's called Ligue 2 because it's called Ligue 2. And he basically said he wasn't going to play because he said that within his contract he had basically a release clause if they were relegated. So that he basically hadn't been playing really at all since January. So it's taken a long time to get him up to speed. But we can see sort of whether or not
he looks wonderful. But is he? Do we have an option to sign him or not?
That's the question. I'm not sure. One would hope that we have an option or indeed an obligation to buy if he can do that, because he's also got. I don't know how tall he is, but he probably looks at least 6'1", 6'2". But
he's a big guy.
Yeah. In comparison to Little Mendy, who I really like, but has looked like he was kind of running out of legs a little bit over the last couple of games. He had, anybody who gives you a little bit of height, good bit of passing, a bit of determination in the ball, I thought he was really, really useful, and it helped for me. Loser to kind of get further forward. I'd still like to see his passing range return to the previous adventurous levels that it was, because I think I do agree with what Vasha said. I think he has become sort of retaining possession rather than pulling strings, so to speak. But then you bring on Bove, and then it ends with a sort of a lovely fairy tale in our favour. As Daniel Ellis says, thank God they didn't have Kiefer Moore, because putting the ball into the box from wide areas, not having Kiefer Moore to contend with, that's something, isn't it?
But if we, sorry, what was my train of thought? If we beat Leicester on Saturday. It's the international break, isn't it? After that, it is. And then you've got Mama, Jeremy Ngakia, maybe Petri, and Barr all coming back. How will that might maybe change things up?
It could do. I think it's probably, and this might be me defending myself against emotional letdown.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm just trying to be glass half full.
No, that's fine. Look. Glass is half full. That's fine. That'll do. It's everybody should take it on however they think and however they see. But I think it's been that season where, bar those 4 games, and Watford 1881 said, we did the same thing after Derby and the same thing after Bristol City away. We get too carried away. So we've had a result. I think it's reasonable to turn around and say, no, we need to see that there is a repeat of this, or a repeat of the performance, even if there isn't the result. The hunger that we saw, the effort that we saw, the kind of and some qualities that we saw, especially in the first half, are really something. And I think if you can start to integrate a little bit more Bove in, maybe for. A number of people have said, well, is he the loser replacement? Well, I don't know any more than you do. But if we can start taking, kind of resting loser, because he looks absolutely knackered, on 60 minutes, and then giving Bove 30 minutes rather than 10 or 20, maybe both guys' fitness levels will kind of hit an equilibrium. And they'll be able to sort of play for the rest of the season. I'm like everybody else. I don't expect to see loser after the end of this season, but we will see what happens. But in and of itself, I think we can look at the game tonight and be pleased that the club has put in a turnaround performance that it needed to, after a couple of performances that had moments that weren't taken and then became very, very underwhelming.
Agreed.
and that have allowed the season to peter out, once again for the 4th season running. So we're not going to get carried away thinking that, oh my God, we maybe. No. I'm just going to kind of sit and watch each game, take them, and whether or not there's nothing on it, I'll still take a look at it and think about it. Others may not. Exactly, it's how you see your football, isn't it? Well, sir, look, I'm going to let you get back and eat your dinner because let's face it, you served it up 5 minutes ago and we've been letting it go cold. That's no good at all. But do give us a shout back after Leicester. There's Adam in the US. We don't need to keep going on about other things. Let's get to Caden, find out how Caden is, because I imagine he'll be as cock a hoop about this as he was flat after Stoke, and I think we all were. Caden, how you doing?
Evening, Peter. How are you?
Evening. There sounds like there's a zip, or indeed a zip in your step. You sound more positive than Saturday, and I can understand why.
Certainly. A very, very well drilled performance. Sturdy performance.
Sturdy isn't a word we've used very often about Watford. I'll tell you that much. That's good. Go on then. What made us sturdy today, sir?
Well, there's one player, Ekwa. Simple answer. I thought he was epic tonight. I see a lot in Ekwa of what I see in Loser. Picking out all these passes, quick passes, doesn't slow it down, plays it quickly, tidy, doesn't mess about with it. Perfect. That's what we want.
Okay.
I thought Kieran Go was absolutely fantastic tonight. He did all the hard yards. He did all the hard yards that I don't think a lot of fans may pull up on. But yeah, I was very, very impressed with him. Bowler, really good finish. Took a deflection.
Yes,
but fantastic technique. Just I think that's quite unlucky from unlucky on a Conqueror there. Georgie, he's back to his best, isn't he? He was an absolute whippet tonight in that first half, especially in that first half.
Yeah.
Running down the wing like it's no tomorrow, really quick, slick passing, perfect. Pollock, the day's saviour. I think without him, I think it could have been a very different scoreline, especially in that second half when they were constantly pummeling our box with more and more. And a beautiful moment for Bove. The Roma contingent were out in full force this evening.
Yeah.
Can see them very, very well from the posh seats on the halfway line.
Was that where they were? I didn't know that.
No, that's where I was this evening.
Oh, you were in the posh seats.
Yes.
Oh, what if it? Were you in hospitality?
Yes. I was this evening.
Ooh, what hospitality did you have? Whereabouts were you?
We were in the View this evening.
Nice. I think everybody needs to know this. What were the food options and what did you go for?
Let me. You know what? Let's actually get this fully for you.
Have you got a menu?
It's on my phone.
This is good. This is like an advert for hospitality. Go on then.
All for you, Peter. So they had
my keen interest in food. Everybody, I do apologise. Carry on.
Chicken massaman curry.
Oh, nice.
Crispy pork belly.
I've been called worse. Carry on.
And a sweet potato and red pepper massaman curry.
Yeah. And no, the first two were very good. The third one involved vegetarians, and I'm not having any of that. So carry on. Good.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good experience. And just tops it off with a fantastic performance tonight. As I said at the top, very, very well drilled. and impressive.
Where do you see us being having been drilled? Because the two halves were, but both very pleasing, obviously, because we've come out of it with a win. But one was very much on the front foot, the other was on the back foot. Where do you see the drills or the drilling of the team was there? Because some people have said they didn't think it was as well coached, so to speak. Where did you see the differences?
I think the second half to be well drilled in a way that you're not conceding stupid goals. You've constantly got the cover there. There are a couple of scary moments. I'm not going to dispute that, but on the whole, a really good defensive display. And the final player that I am going to mention, just before I go on to my man of the match, and then I'll shut up.
Oh, right, okay. This is Caden's self-appointed man of the match. Everybody, I like this. Go on. This is what we need. We need people to come on and take charge because nobody else will. Carry on.
Chidzi was very good tonight. Not my man of the match, but very, very good this evening.
Okay.
Him and Pollock have got a nice little pair in there. I thought they worked very, very well tonight to shut off a Wrexham team where they made a change at half time. And I said to my dad, I said, this man always does a number on us, and that being Josh Windass.
Oh, yeah.
Always does a number on us. And then Jay Rodriguez came on, and I said, yeah, this could be a horrible end to the game. And we shut them off. We shut them off like there's no tomorrow. Foremost Mendy came on and, did his job fairly well. Kiben did what he had to do in a short space of time. But for me, I've got two man of the matches for tonight because the halves were two completely different displays. First half,
go on.
First half, it's got to go to Pierre Ekwa. I thought he was absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
A Rolls Royce in that midfield. And the second half, I'm giving it to Matty Pollock. Absolutely fantastic. He saved us from it being 3-2. And as soon as it goes 2-2, sorry. As soon as it goes to 2-2, it's a different game. And then Bove does his magic. So, yeah, Ekwa and Pollock, my man of the matches this evening.
Nice. Like, I'll go with all of that. I'm very pleased to hear. Not only does Caden come on and say, "I'll get to my man of the match," singular, luring us into a false sense of security. He then hits us with multiple men of the matches for different halves. What can you do? Right, let's get to Nelly. Let's find out what Nelly's going to do. By the way, Nelly, are you there?
Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello, I'm all right. Thank you very much indeed. You sound like you're not on the M25.
No, in the office again. But just a couple of things to add because I know it's a school night.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it on iFollow. I just want to quickly say something about iFollow because I was such a big critic of Hive Live with the rubbish we got from that, but I've been really impressed with iFollow this season. It's helped me out because being in the office, I miss, even a lot of the home games. They're really good. Now, you speak to those guys. You speak to those guys, don't you, Derek? And what's the other guy?
No. What, Jeff Doyle? I've spoken to Derek a few times, but not to Jeff. But
right.
I like Jeff very much.
Yeah, so do I. But can you send him a message, Pete? If Watford make two substitutes because he's got previous for this, will you tell us who the second one is?
Okay, I'll do that.
Because what he does is he tells us who the first substitute is.
And doesn't tell you who the second one is.
And he never tells you who the second one is until you hear 15 minutes later. You go, is he on the pitch?
So by the audio, you're trying to work out who is actually playing and who is not.
because he never when Watford make 2 substitutes.
Yeah, no, we've got it. We've got it. You don't need to tell us again. That's fine. This is something I shall pass along to Derek. I shall send him a text and reprimand him. I would suggest that's the kind of thing that we should throw at Jeff Doyle's feet rather than Derek. Because let's face it,
no, it's Jeff Doyle.
Yeah. I think it is. I think it is. And let's face it, Derek is also trying to cope with what difficult named player has just come off versus what difficult named player has just come on. So he's got enough on his plate.
I tell you what, the good thing I like about Derek is you can sense how Watford are playing by the way he talks. And I think he's absolutely great. And it's been great. They've been really great this year. So much of an improvement on Hive Live. It's been unbelievable.
Well, when you say an improvement on Hive Live, what period are you talking from? Because, I mean, look, people can say what they want. I still think that when the pandemic hit, and people will have their own opinion about the pandemic, that's fine, that's whatever.
Yeah.
I was really impressed because the club seemed to basically spin up a TV channel in about 25 minutes. And
that
suddenly,
was unbelievable with Emma Saunders and Tommy Mooney in the studio.
Absolutely.
No, I'm talking about post-pandemic when that faded away, and we used to have all these problems where halfway during a match you'd lose stuff, and even Andrew French got onto it, didn't he? He did a piece on how poor they were. So
okay, well, that's good. So tonight, other than knowing who came off and the sound of it, you said you got a couple of things. What was the other thing you wanted to mention?
Just to say that what I've said so many seasons before, Pete. It's a numbers game, isn't it? There's 24 points left to play for. And, it's to gain those 24 points is in our own hands. It sounds like from the commentary tonight that was a fantastic performance. Sounds like the people that have been coming on, speaking on your channel have been sort of uplifted by that performance. It's a pity I couldn't make it, but I will be there at Leicester on Saturday, and I've told them, no, I'm not working Good Friday and I'm not working Easter Monday. I said, so that'll at least give me 3 games to look forward to. So, no, it's never over till the fat lady sings.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's face it, in 8 games' time, the fat lady will be singing, and then people will be going at the playoffs or not. And we will see. Let's get to Hornet for Life, who's been waiting. Let's get to Noah and see whether or not he's been able to extract any thoughts from the game. Noah, are you there?
Hello, Pete.
Hey,
hello, how are you?
I'm all right, sir. You okay? Did you get to see the game?
I certainly did. I was in the stadium.
Oh, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff.
For the first time in a while tonight.
No, that's good. That's good. What were your observations? Because you like to pick out seemingly, kind of like little bits. And what struck you tonight?
I thought we were very, very good today. I thought we were good. Although set pieces are doing my head in. We are so bad. We are so bad from set pieces.
What, defending or attacking set pieces?
Both of them, to be honest. We're not great from either. So, yeah. But we played really well. I thought Chak was really good. I thought Chak was really good. I feel like my main issue with Chak over the last a couple months or so has been his decision making, like when to release a pass or when to kind of release a pass. But I feel like he's certainly improved on that recently. I don't know what you think of that, but I think he's certainly got better at that, and that's good for us.
Very good. Who would you make man of the match? Melanie here saying Ekwa is an option for man of the match, so she went for Matty Pollock. That sounds like Ekwa might have been in for it, but there were a number of contenders that you could have picked today. Who picked your eye as the best player on the team?
I think it probably was Chak for me.
Nice.
He didn't do anything particularly, he didn't get on the score sheet, but he was brilliant for me. I thought he was good.
Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff.
I'll go a bit different. Why not?
Okay. What are your hopes for the Leicester game?
Win.
On Saturday when we play Leicester.
Win.
Win. I thought you said when. I was going to say it was Saturday.
No, win. That is it.
That's it. That's it. End of, and get it on and move forward. That'll be good. That'll be good. Well, we'll see how we go.
And also, I get that Kieran Gore was slightly better today, but I still don't see it personally.
No, okay. Well, look. The great thing here is to try to come on and say, look, what's your opinion? What did you think? At the start, we started with an old mate of mine, Andy Woody, and he said, well, no, he frustrated me. A lot of us have seen him and gone really about it, and you come on at the end and kind of bookended it with kind of echoing Andy, which is, still not for me. For some fans, and this isn't saying they're wrong or right at all, but you want to see it more often. And you won't kind of look at a flash in the pan and go, oh, well, that's what defines him. What defines Kieran Gard now is what he does between now and the end of the season. Every single game, putting in that level, putting in that type and physicality of performance that he did today, and then maybe he can turn around some of those skeptics like Woody and Noah here. Maybe. What did you think about when Doumbia came on? Did you think that added something? Because one of the things that's not been mentioned, but it has been mentioned on the YouTube point, was his run at the end. Was very sort of he made an excellent run, got the ball to the byline, got it across, and that was what spilt for Beauvais' goal. What did you think about Doumbia's overall display?
No, I'm going to be honest. Because of the way to get out, I had to leave a bit early, so I missed Beauvais' goal, unfortunately. But it was a shame, but it's good. It's good.
Well, what did you think about him when he was on the pitch? Because I'm sure you didn't go off before he came on.
He was on. But I think Doumbia has stuff that like he's got something. Like I think we all know that. Like I think he's definitely got something.
Good stuff. Well, that's fair enough.
For me, right now, I don't think he's quite polished.
Okay.
But I think he's probably our best striker.
I was going to ask. So if we're looking at the Leicester game, which we're going to win, and you're going to play one of the three forwards, so Semedo, Doumbia, or Kieramgard, and you're the manager, who are you going to pick to start on Saturday?
I'd pick personally. I'd go Semedo. I think just fresh legs, really. I thought obviously he's got that in when we saw against Wednesday, which I know I wasn't here. I didn't come on because I was so fuming. It's the worst I've ever seen us play. That Sheffield Wednesday game, awful. But Rivaldo Semedo once again saves us from that rubbish. We get a point. Look, I'm usually fairly positive, but that was awful.
Yeah, I'm going to stop now because otherwise I'm basically putting Noah through trauma that he doesn't want to have. Fair enough. He would go with Semedo. Personally, I think Semedo does his best work at the end of games. I think for somebody to throw somebody on, and you look at the minutes he has to go, I think he just at the moment he's in that sort of impact sub territory for me, but not necessarily for everybody. Right, let's get to some 5 words, shall we? Let's find out what we've got up here. There we go. Look at this. This is working well. Almost. Hold on. Let me just turn off some of those bits. And some of those bits. If you're watching this, that all makes sense. If you're not, makes none at all. We are going to go through some 5-word reviews. Jason Rose says Sam Smith is a disrespectful twat. Only player who did not clap on the 15th minute and apparently has previous for this sort of thing. Could I just say, and I appreciate that any Wrexham fans going home will be spitting on their car floor. Don't do that, please. Fair play to the ref. I know you didn't like him. I get that. But when the ball stopped, in the 15th minute, he stopped it, and both sets of teams joined in with the applause, as did the Wrexham fans. For the young girl who really, really dreadfully tragic, sadly lost her life age 15. Watford supporter, was playing at the Oxford United Academy. I was at the women's game on Friday, and that had a minute's silence. Today's minute's applause was no less poignant, and it was lovely to see it respected by both teams. But Jason calling out Sam Smith, who I think it's fair to say has it in his locker to upset opposition quite a lot. Best performance of the season, asks Jason. Pot noodle for lunch tomorrow, says Frank. Absolutely. I don't want to know what you're doing tonight. Drew Peacock. Yes, hello, Brian. Says, Grok, is this actually real? Yes, it was. Wrexham poor. Watford much better, says Jane Kearney. There's an advert. I'm not going to read that. That's ridiculous. Hazel Roberts says, well, I didn't expect that. Gaz, Northwest Horn says, too little, too late. But that was a fabulous team performance. John says, John Parslover says, new phones arriving tomorrow, Pete. So there we go. We might have a bit more John on the line. That'll be nice. Willie Eckers said, I didn't see that coming. Hello, Ken. Watford Argentina says, finally, a really good game. I felt it was. Other people will look at it in a different way, and that's perfectly acceptable. Brian says Ed still better than Yavi Grazia. He's still he's still fighting that fight. I have to say, Brian, you keep going, sir. The fact that we've all moved on, but you keep going. I like that very much. We missed Pollock, outstanding tonight, says Gaz. Again, Northwest on it. Ben Slater says this league is absolute honking. Yeah, it's not been the best, but in a way that makes it the best. I know that sounds stupid, but hey, it's me. What did you expect? Finally, some Patrick's luck, says Harry. John Parslow, new number 9 was superb. Ryan Cripps says, do I not like that? Do I do like that? That doesn't make sense at all. Pete Joyless Jones says, sublime, resplendent, glorious, impressive, Beauvais. Sounds like there was a bit of joy in that. What a difference a day makes, says Fazana Chowdhury. Hey, Fazana. Ben says, sexy legs with a goal. I didn't score. I don't know what you mean. Dr. Dickie Sutton says 19,835 watching on Sky Sports. Drew Peacock, once again, hello, Brian. What a fabulous team effort. Hampshire Hornet, good win, made hard work. Yeah, but we did the hard work. I'll take that. Wrexham are shit, says Watford man TW. That sounds slightly less than respectful. Well, hey, it's your call. You take it. A performance to be proud of, says Smitty. Alan WFC says Pollock wins all 3 points. We've got another. Oh, look, there's an advert for Serenity Falls. When do they start putting adverts in the middle of Twitter 5-word reviews? Don't they know what we're doing? Drowning man temporarily surfaces, says Pete Ryan. You see, that's the level of hope I'm looking for. Comparing us to a drowning man, that'll do. Thank you very much indeed for the overexcited computer user icon there, Brian. Beauvais goal brings a tear, says Malk. Simon Parkin says, ole, 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 ole. Beauvais, quite right. Stuart Cashmore says Beauvais arrives fucking shit up. Daniel Ellis says Harry Hornet batters Mickey Mouse. Great performance. Chris Talfer says much better performance all round. Matt Burns says that's truly the Watford way. Colin Hosier, where did that performance come from? Heart, desire, and putting bodies on the line. Beauvais celebration was what you come to football for. A mix of relief and joy. Who doesn't love a good stand on the board celebration? Well, Colin, I'm going to have to tell you off because that was significantly more than 5 words, but I have to commend you for an excellent use of the words that you did use. Excellent stuff. Ian Foster says Beauvais, 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 Beauvais. Steve Woolley says, agree with Pete, K9 out of 10 performance. Oh, look at that. Well done, Steve. Like more of those. Vince Smith says just enough to keep hope alive. There's a certain level of resentment in that from Vince, and I'm with you, Vince. I'm with you all the way. The most Watfordy Watford game of the season, says Dave Sweet. Yell 999 says WFC, hard habit to break. Andrew Hornet 21 here we are, 210974 says torture continues a little longer. You can see we're just prolonging the suffering. We know this, you know this, everybody knows this. The people going back to their cars in Wrexham are going going back up to Wrexham in their cars. They don't realise this is just prolonging our suffering and nothing more. Rich WFC says we are actually so Watfordy. Another Beauvais. Oh, a lovely investment advert. Oh, that's interesting. Not the season is over. Not, says Jason in Finland. Jason, come on, be curmudgeonly. Don't agree with it. Beauvais, nothing else, just Beauvais, says Diarrhea. Oh, hello. Oh, Gary, that is a good one. You drew me in. That was a good one. I can't deny it. There we go. What's that? Oh, there. Yes, very lovely stuff. Right, let's get to some 5-word. No, we've done the 5 words. Let's do the what am I looking for? I'm looking for the long forms. We don't have too many because it's a school night and we're going to finish soon. John Parzo says, I'm rescinding Vash's invitation to the promotion party. He says he didn't like that at all. Okay. Paul and the Ball says, our best periods this season have by no coincidence been with Matty Pollock at his best. As well as being a good defender, he's always talking to the team. And that organisation helps our team so much with his demands. I've got a bit of a theory having watched tonight, and it was really interesting with what Vasha said in terms of saying, well, the things that Golia hasn't improved on the things that he mentioned when he previously come on. He said, I'd really like him to see about that and being composed and his use of the ball and various other things. What was interesting for me, when we got Mafuni and we put him in at left side centre back, it was like, oh my God, everything fits. Brilliant. We've got somebody who can play that role. He gets injured, as we know, a crying shame, but I think everybody wishes that young man absolutely all the best for a stellar career as he moves, as he goes back to Manchester and Wigan, where he lives, and carries on his career. I think we can enjoy that career vicariously. The problem is that Pollock has been lessened by playing on the left. I don't think his leadership skills are quite so good when he's having to concentrate so much because he's on the left. So it might be that Golia Chidza is almost taking one for the team playing on the left, because I thought he looked okay for me personally at championship level. I appreciate that might be a different thing to thinking and projecting for international level. I thought he did well, but what we did absolutely see was exactly as Paul said, Pollock as a leader, Pollock as an organizer, Pollock as somebody who was determined and played really, really strongly and well, because he wasn't being put out of his comfort zone on the left. Paul Fiander Turner says, was in a gig. So put phone away at 2-1. What a lovely thing to come out of the banger of a gig to then read up on. Absolutely. Did Caden have a few alco pops in hospitality? Asked Hampshire Hornet. Sounds like he's eaten the thesaurus. Very good. Brian says, that's us staying up this season. Everyone relax. Nice, nice. Some fall from grace. What's this? Haaland has equalised. Okay, right, fine. Watford lyrics. We're going to get to that last. And that was Foremost Mendy's first appearance at Vicarage Road this season, says Jake. Was it really? Brief. Are you on mute? Asked Phil. I think I was earlier on, so my apologies if you joined in earlier on and couldn't hear me. Frankly, that's possibly more preferable than to hearing me. So let's finish the night, shall we? Let's finish the night with Watford limericks. The Hollywood circus arrived, and Watford looked strong and revived. Bolla, Bove, Edo, where the stars of the show, and Ryan and Wrexham nose-dived. Very, very good. Very, very strong. Well, look, there's no real material change from Saturday before the Stoke game. Okay, we're now what? We're 5 points off of Wrexham, and I appreciate that. A lot of people will say, well, you know, we may be sitting in the gutter, but we're looking at the stars, we're looking upwards. I think we concentrate on each individual game as they go, because we haven't got consistency yet, or we haven't seen it yet. It hasn't arrived anytime soon. However, this was a huge improvement, but against a Wrexham team that I think, especially in that first half, was oddly flat. So I don't think we should get carried away, as was said earlier on. You know, think about that Derby game, think about that Bristol City game, and then think about the nosedive that came off of it. Let's just keep the equilibrium, an easy word for me to say, not. Let's just keep it as it stands and see where things go. We're taking on Leicester on Saturday. Let's go along and enjoy that game and see where it happens. For me, two moments that bookended a lovely win. Obviously, that's nice. But the poignant applause with everybody inside the ground, with the exceptions apparently of Sam Smith. I don't know. I wasn't looking at him joining in for the tragic loss of a family, and it's those sort of things that put football into sharp relief as the most important of all the unimportant things. And I think that's a reasonable way to describe it and to keep it in mind. It's something for us to enjoy, ideally. Yes, we can moan and gripe about the games when we don't perform well and we lose, but we should also enjoy these games here. That moment of poignancy and sadness is mixed with a moment of huge personal joy for Eduardo Bove. And I know that there will be people who will be going, oh, crikey, you know, have we signed Eduardo Bove? I hadn't seen enough coming out of the club about that. And, you know, yeah, but I don't think the lad's put a foot wrong since he's been here. He's just tried to do absolutely everything he can to get back to doing the thing he loves doing, which is playing football. And he's doing it for the team that, you know, I mean, there are a lot of people out there at the moment who, frankly, you would think are looking for a Watford poor performance and would prefer it. But deep down, they all love it. We all love it in some way, shape or form. Those people just don't feel good about the ownership. And that's something we can talk about. The accounts will be out soon. That will be a time to discuss that. But tonight is about 2 moments of poignancy, 3 points, and not getting carried away. Anyway, we will see you. We're going to try and put a Leicester thing out for you as a preview, and we will see you after the Leicester game on Saturday. You ons.